Alrighty. So here we go with session 42 of Mask and Nyarlathotep. The meaning of life, the universe, and everything, as all good geeks know. I'm sure that will work out for you all. So last time, you guys have continued your investigations in Kenya. You went to help out Miles's old friend, Colonel Endicott, with his cursed game reserve. Things took a turn when there were some sort of undead as a result of a botched resurrection ritual that he was.
That's an understatement.
That he was feeding to try to bring back his wife and son who had died many years previously. He was killed in the process of these things attacking you, but you did manage to send them back, and unfortunately, the assistance you were hoping to get from Colonel Endicott didn't materialize. What with him being, having his flesh flayed from his bones and all. But you finally decided that maybe you would reach out to the British Army, located at Fort Smith in Nairobi, hoping that maybe somehow you could convince them to lend you some assistance. You arranged a meeting with a Captain Montgomery, who is the commander, the operating commander here. And when you were shown into his office, he seemed to know who you were, and mentioned that he had received communications from a Dr. Ali Kafour in Cairo and from a Captain Asogi Taro in Shanghai, both individuals you had met in your previous travels. So he seems to be at least somewhat of an ally. We'll see how things go once you have a chance to talk to him, which is where we will pick things off.
We're in the step of determining if the fact that he knows us is a good or bad thing.
Yes.
Perfect. A little bit of a mood board to give you an idea of what Nairobi looks like in the 1920s. But yes, you guys are currently in Captain Montgomery's office, and he's waiting patiently for you to explain why exactly it was important for you to meet him.
We're missing our usual voice box
Conversation opener,
like
yeah.
Evelyn will look at everyone else, and if no one else is speaking up.
Ladies first.
Great. Well, we have two situations that we are attempting to deal with here. How much of our activities in Cairo and Hong Kong are you familiar with?
Pretend I don't know anything, and I'll fill in the blanks where necessary.
Oh dear. Who was it that you heard these stories from?
Dr. Kafour.
Oh, all right then. Well, there is a global cult that is attempting to bring about the end of the world, and we are trying to stop them with far fewer people and far fewer resources. So we've managed to slow them down in some countries and stop them entirely in others. And now we're here, trying to do the same thing.
Does this sound insane to you, or can we go on?
I haven't shown you to the door yet.
Just making sure.
So they have a large contingent here who are attempting to stop us. Similarly, I suppose, to us trying to stop them. That's problem number one. Problem number two is a bit more spiritual in nature.
I prefer the term esoteric.
That will do quite nicely, actually. That
Yep, I'm gonna keep that.
esoteric is good. Esoteric is far more in line with my usual occupation when I'm not doing this. We need to complete a ritual at the highest point that we can find. But to do that, we need assistance. And a bit of blood. Not terribly much. Certainly not an entire person's worth.
And usually that's when the discussion gets hairy.
Typically, yes. For the most part, however, it's just a matter of repeating words. We just need more than the 4 or 5 of us doing it. Because it's quite strenuous, and I only have so much energy left to go around. So, we
And
are
the
here
cult of
to...
the... Oh, well, continue. I'm sorry.
Yes, the cult of the bloody tongue. We need assistance in keeping them away from us while we are doing this ritual. And we need additional individuals to do some chanting with us while we're doing this ritual. The people doing the chanting and doing the guarding work don't really need to know the details, as long as they can... If they could read, that would be nice. If not, they can repeat afterward, I suppose.
See, and what do you require from me?
People. We need people to do the guarding, which may, I fully expect, turn violent. It always has in the past.
Maybe you could also give us a hand in strategizing how we approach this.
Cultish lair.
I assume you're familiar with the bloody tongue in your region?
Yes, quite.
They're quite prevalent and well ingrained around here.
They are an ongoing nuisance. We have them relatively under control here in the city. But outside of the city, they have strongholds. There are villages that are sworn to them. There are villages that live in fear of them. We've not been able to eliminate them.
We need to go to a mountain that is one of their stronghold. And we've been struggling on finding an angle of approach to that problem. We might have found a way to get there discreetly, but we need assistance for the ritual, and we need to be able to perform it deep in their territory. They're gonna be looking for us and acting up. And if it's one of their places of power, I don't think we can entirely rely on stealth to get this through.
No. I
Sadly.
imagine they have access to the same sort of protections that we do. And some of the more violent means that we've seen them employ in the past, like on the train.
Oh yeah, the fire thing. And
Yes.
Eugene like passes his hand on his scars. Yeah. Let's try to avoid those.
I see.
It would be nice.
Well, I would assume that this is a matter of internal security for the king's holdings here.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I'm surprised Mr. Caputo isn't with you. Never mind. I believe I owe him several drinks, so it's probably for the best.
Was
He
to take a little break of all this. His mind was suffering from this mission.
Oh, I see.
he decided that given the events that had occurred at that point, that he would like to spend some time with his wife.
Should you be able to help us, you would buy him some time with his family. I'm sure he would be grateful for this.
Honestly, if he helps us, he'll be buying everyone time with their families.
Yeah,
Because if we fail, no one gets time with their families.
I knew he had friends in many places, and I was trying to play this up.
Yeah, this does go beyond providing with a safe house as was done in London.
Oh!
Yeah, that's what I expected.
You helped us with that.
Well, not me, but
It was
say what he called his larger family.
It was so very necessary, and thank you so much. Pass it along to whoever needs to hear it, but we did greatly appreciate it. Unfortunately, not everyone in our group is still present after that, but we're still trying.
The vagaries of all this have been taking a toll on the group.
Just slightly.
understood. Well, you're more than welcome to rest here while we get affairs in order. Where are you headed to?
Is it possible to roll psychology to know if he won't like, yeah, you can rest here and arrest us?
Absolutely.
Or sick some undead creatures on us to eat us in our sleep.
Just give me a minute. I'm trying to open Forge.
Can I get in on that psychology roll?
Absolutely. Anybody there can make the psychology roll.
Yay. Mount Satima is our goal. It seems to be the best location. I think as I go back through my notes.
If we keep it into Zoderic term, what we're gonna do as a range, and we must cover whatever they would be doing in that range, and that's the epicenter, and it must be as high as possible. Hence, top of Mount Satima.
Well, Mount Satima is the highest peak in the range. There are other higher mountains, but they are a fair distance.
Yes, and since it's need to be in range.
Right. So Eugene and Evelyn, yeah, he seems to be on the up and up. There doesn't seem to be anything deceitful about him. He does have, there does seem to be some underlying concern. But he's absolutely not reacting with any degree of surprise to anything that you've told him. As a matter of fact, actually, since both of you got hard successes, he was letting you tell him what you would to kind of gauge how much you would tell him. All right. Let me think on it and see what I can provide. We can have barracks provided for you to rest. You're welcome to take meals in the canteen.
Late to the party, but a failure anyway.
Right.
I don't trust that guy.
Mount Satima is it's a difficult march.
The thing is, if we go all guns blazing, it's gonna be a mess. If we go discreetly, it's hard to stay discreet for like 12 hours needed to perform that esoteric operation. So we were hoping to find some assistance that turned out to be a bust. Let's say the people we were hoping for help had already fallen to darker forces.
Had other cats to flay.
Yep. Let's say it like that.
I understand.
I hope
So we don't have a solid plan right now.
And he starts he goes like kind of behind his desk. He starts looking through some papers. And somebody can give me a persuasion roll.
With pleasure.
better you than me. I've only got a 10.
For once, I'm not that bad, but I'm just a support if Gary fails.
Oh, I'm not even supportive Gary fails.
Oh, I know. Definitely no.
If I can
with the
persuade him, I'm just gonna be pretty.
That's the part I can't do. I'm just big. I'm not pretty. I'm just big.
I'm no longer playing a social charmer, so
Regular success.
Like, I definitely have some guides that can take you to Mount Satima. I can likely have some men available, but it will not be. I'm not going to send a handful of men out into a dangerous situation. I would not be able to excuse that in the paperwork.
More than a handful would be ideal.
We need to be
Given what we
discreet,
expect to
but
face.
we need to also be able to defend ourselves. It's a dangerous balance.
Right. He kind of like leans out. He says, "Miss Smith, would you please bring Higgins and Hensley in?" And she's like, "Yes, sir.
You trust those men?
I trust all my men."
Yeah, it's just we've seen the tendrils of some of those cults go far.
Higgins and Hensley are seasoned officers, young but experienced. And after probably 10 minutes or so, these two very like prim and proper, like British, like lieutenants, I guess, come in. It's like, Hensley, Higgins, get your men ready. These folks here have an issue of utmost importance to internal security and to the king's efforts here on the continent. They are civilians, but we will be assisting them. They both, like, neither one of them says anything. They just kind of like, nod, salute, and head out to start getting things ready. Like, so I have a company of men that I can send with you.
That's still way better than what we had before.
That would be absolutely lovely.
thank you, Captain.
Welcome. And just so you guys are aware, Miles would know. The rest of you might know, but Miles would definitely know that a company is about 120 men.
Damn.
Any information beyond that, if you guys want to make history rolls, because that's how skills improve, feel free.
Got slightly better than half a chance.
Sorry, what skill was it?
History.
History. I apparently have spent a lot of time just reading, but
Apparently. So Evelyn, you would know that if he's sending two companies, one of those companies is probably equipped with a Vickers, which is a machine gun. And the generalmen at this time, in the King's African Rifles, the majority of the enlisted men will be locals. The officers are all British. And a company is about 120 men that he's willing to send with you.
Sorry, he's sending one company or two?
two.
He's sending one company, basically a couple of platoons.
Oh, one. Okay.
Yeah, he's sending.
I thought you said two.
No, he's sending one company, a couple of platoons, about 120 men.
That would be.
It's like, if I was to send more, I think it would slow you down, and it would be very noticeable. And on the off chance that you don't return, it would be much harder to explain.
They will fight us, so I am not of a military complexion. I do not know tactic very much, but I assume there will be losses.
It is assumed. A company of men disappearing in the heart of Africa is sadly not unheard of.
That is sad.
Let's try not to get to that point, but I do be feeling a bit more comfortable with the idea of going with such a group.
Of course, it will take them a couple of days to get ready. The quarters will be provided.
That's all right. Take us a couple of days to sleep off things that we've seen already.
Of course. Oh,
I
excuse
still
me.
need some rest, so if we have a few days, I'll take them.
I have some paperwork to do to ensure that this is all accounted for, requisition forms and the like. I'll have somebody escort you to your quarters.
Thank you so much.
Do you think it would be safe to have a talk with your officer so we may prepare the esoteric practice that will be done over there?
Of
Make
course.
sure that the people are not surprised by what we ask them.
Of course.
That is brilliant.
I suppose join me in a rousing chorus just does sound
For
rather
12 hours.
And
odd.
bleed for me.
It's only a few drops from each of them. It's not.
Well, if we
And
have
it
to talk
doesn't
with-
even need to be everyone to be enough.
if we talk with the two officers, they can understand what we're doing and they can find the right man to accompany us in that specific part.
No one terribly religious, I hope.
Or somebody that is religious enough to believe in what we're doing. One or the other.
And is familiar enough with the cult and what they've been doing to the locals that they won't have any objection to putting an end to them.
Yes.
Oh, this actually looks doable.
It's the first time I had any kind of
Hope.
while we were in Kenya.
Please, my friends, let's not jinx it by saying it out loud.
Sorry, I won't say the H word again.
I'll knock
No,
on something wooden.
It's a part. It's let's say it's Jewish wisdom.
Yep.
Keep your happiness to yourself.
That is surprisingly good advice. Actually,
I'll
not
go
even
with
surprisingly.
carefully
It's
optimistic,
just
but very careful about it.
very, very careful. Yes,
Let's return to the quarter that has been provided to us, unless this fine gentleman work.
yes.
Perfect. So you are escorted to the barracks. You guys are given like kind of separate quarters, like guest quarters, for lack of a better term.
Is there a card game during the evening?
Yes, there is.
Gary's lost.
If I want to regenerate some hit point, do I need to fully rest, or can I participate in activities too?
You basically, since you no longer have a major wound, so as long as you get like your 8 hours of sleep a night, you'll heal.
Good.
But yes, the two young officers will meet you tomorrow to go over what's expected of them and their men.
Yes.
And the plan is currently it's Friday. The plan is to move out on Monday.
Sounds good to me. I'll let Gary play. I'm too poor to try to play cards.
Too poor, too wise.
No, we're not. We're not too
we're
poor.
we're definitely not too poor.
We are not. I am.
We have funding.
That's the difference.
We don't have gambling money, but
Yeah. Anyway, I'll ask Brain.
Paul, Jerry, Adam.
Alvin.
Alvin.
To watch over me while I read tonight.
Okay.
yes, I'm going to refresh myself on the ritual this evening.
Yeah, I've started the book. I might as well finish it before we leave.
So, which book are you in the process of reading?
The Book of Daizan.
Real
Okay,
page
I have like
turner.
3 days left on it.
A real page turner.
Yep.
Tell ya, once you start reading, you can't stop.
The Book of Zion. Dzyan, I think.
Daizan, yeah.
Books, am I right?
Ooh, a book bound in goatskin and woven papers with a distinct smell of sulfur upon it.
Yep.
But it's definitely goat skin. That's a plus.
It is definitely goatskin. Okay, perfect. Is there anything else other people are doing during these, like, over the weekend, I guess?
I'm refreshing what I need to know for the ritual. So that I have an idea of what to tell these fine officers who are going to be picking people for us.
I think we're gonna stay with the tactic we had, that I laid the ritual and you there to pick it up if I lose it.
We can. I don't mind at all. I've only got 30 power left, so
I have more than twice that.
ouch.
So, yep.
Yes, you can definitely lead us off.
Yeah. Until I can't anymore, but for a while
Yeah.
I think but having somebody else who know the ritual to pick it up if I fail or if I falter is necessary, I think.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to brush up so we have a good explanation for those fine gentlemen, I think that'd be
Yes. Yep.
Perfect. And yeah, and like over the course of the weekend, basically the group that's going with you is basically making sure they've got other supplies ready and stuff. Miles, you can tell that like they know what they're doing. Most of these folks probably come from some of these smaller villages. So they're laying in everything that they need in terms of like food, water, medical supplies, an entire crate of dynamite.
Ooh.
They know their stuff.
Yes.
Wasn't expecting dynamite, but okay, that'll do.
I mean,
it's a problem solver.
Oh, it definitely is.
I'm a big fan of explosive.
I don't know.
I tried to teach Dr. Carter about it, and he was having trouble with that.
A dear friend lost a good portion of his arm after an encounter.
Yeah.
Where dynamite was used.
Dynamite shenanigans.
A little bit.
Dynamite and dynamite-related incidents.
To be fair,
there was more to it than dynamite, but dynamite started off the evening.
That looked like a more bar mitzvah.
Possibly. From what you've described, it might have been a bit bar mitzvah-ish.
Bar mitzvah-ish?
Mazel tov.
Hey, Chris, I got a question.
Yep.
In terms of these military guys preparing equipment-wise and what have you, is there anything they're doing that suggests that Captain Montgomery might know more than he's let on in terms of, unknown things that people wouldn't believe in?
You can make let's call that a spot hidden roll. Nothing catches Miles's attention right off, but the fact that he's sending like a machine gun group with you. There's more dynamite than you would reasonably need in an excursion into the jungle. And Miles, you do notice that a fair number of the soldiers, like I said, the enlisted men, the vast majority of the enlisted men are all local Kenyans. And a large number of them have what Miles would probably identify as superstitious trinkets and the like. Kind of like if it was a bunch of Roman Catholics and they all had their crucifixes or their like St. Christopher's medals or whatever.
Yep.
So nothing that directly says that he knows more than he's letting on, but these are folks that have a healthy dose of superstition and are bringing considerable firepower.
Some choice were made.
So, but all things that could be like very easily explained if somebody questioned.
Okay.
I'm gonna take notice of the dynamite they're bringing, trying to identify the different parts and equipments. So I know if I need to be jump on that train, know what material to expect that I have at my disposition.
Yep. Basically, they have dynamite and they have detonators. They have like the old-fashioned plunger detonators.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, with cords and stuff.
Yep. Every time I bring explosives into a game, I ran Deadlands, and I gave my players 50 feet of cord for their dynamite, but dynamite in Deadlands has a blast radius of 60 feet.
You gotta run.
They were not amused.
I had.
Aren't you a nasty cookie?
I went to a Victorian escape room, and there was a plunger that you had to connect to some explosive to finish the escape room. The satisfaction of just pushing on that plunger was very gratifying. That's a nice object.
They will also during this time, Miles. Three of the enlisted men, who seem to be the unit guides, will kind of go with Miles. They'll kind of go over the map, go over the terrain, kind of like figure out what route is best to avoid, because basically the best avenue of approach. And then they'll make sure that there are multiple copies of the map. Like each of the guides has one, and then they'll also make sure that Miles has one with like the planned route marked out on it and everything. And they do earmark like rendezvous points along the way in case anybody gets separated from the unit. So that
That is interesting.
Yeah, so there are planned places to meet up if you get separated.
Oh, that sounds good.
But yes, they definitely know what they're doing. And
I have a question.
Yep.
Considering that this is a rather large troop, and admittedly I was never a military man myself, is the plan to just walk in one big column, or are we going to separate ourselves a bit so that, assuming we encounter resistance, we're not all one big pile of sitting ducks?
No, the British military travels as one.
Okay, as long as we're not as long as we're not going to use the 1800s, 1700s, walk right in front of each other and shoot each other.
No, they are more disciplined than that, but they do travel together. Show of force, what?
What?
For king and country.
Can I spot an explosive guy among them?
The guy that likes an arm.
Yeah. The explosives are under the purview of one of the lieutenants.
Do you happen to have a solution if the thing you want to make explode is a moving target?
That shouldn't be a thing. The explosives are for removing stationary obstacles.
Okay, just checking.
I mean, some of you Americans with your Wild West ideas might decide to throw dynamite at something.
I'm pretty sure the howitzer should be enough. Hopefully.
And then I think Evelyn, at the very least, wanted to meet with the lieutenants to kind of go over things.
Yes, so that they have an idea of what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be asking them to do once we actually get to the pardon me. Once we actually get to the location, past the cultists.
All right. So you can meet up with them like Saturday?
Yeah, when are we planning on heading out? Monday?
Monday.
Okay. Saturday should be fine. So yeah, basically just explaining that we're going to be facing off against a cult, and we're going to be using their techniques against them, in a manner of speaking. I'm sure you and your men have encountered these cultists and what they tend to do to cause mayhem.
They are quite savage, yes.
We're going to be using the same sort of magics that they've been using to cause disruption. We're going to turn it back on them.
They
in a manner of speaking.
they look kind of confused. They look like a combination of confused and relieved.
So what I'll be asking you to do is to, and it's going to take some time. We're going to do a sort of ritual. A lot of talking, a lot of chanting, a lot of hand waving on my part and the part of Eugene Lafayette, which I'm sure some of you may have met.
The two of them just kind of look at you and say, "We don't know anything about what you're doing. We know the captain has told us to assist you, and we will do so."
Excellent. I need people who can read.
We can read.
Good. I'm sure you're familiar with following along and reading parts out loud that all need to be read together. That's the sort of thing that we're going to be doing, but we're going to be doing it for about 12 hours.
We will do what's necessary to assist you. Captain's orders.
So glad to hear it.
And Evelyn, you can make a persuade roll.
Oh, this is going to go badly. Persuading is not my strong suit.
Do you have any man that will be able to follow along with that?
Do you want to spend 73 luck to succeed?
If only I had more than 57 luck. No, I don't think I'll spend that much luck. Thanks anyway.
They do look concerned. They look trepidatious.
Rather a little skeptical, I imagine.
A little bit skeptical, a little bit trepidatious, a little bit relieved. But they are, chain of command. The captain says to do this thing, and they are loyal soldiers.
That's good. Loyal is good.
It's a good thing the ritual does not require believers.
Yeah, right?
It specifically requires someone who does not believe.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, they will listen politely to Evelyn.
Gotta love those polite English boys.
Do you have any of your men that you think could follow along too?
The men will do as they're told.
Yeah, just think before we get there of the one you're gonna ask to get in. The one you are the most likely to follow through efficiently and up to the end.
Yes, don't give me someone who's going to fall over 2 pages in or an hour and a half in. Someone who's used to standing for prolonged periods of time, which theoretically should be all of you from what I understand of some of the military might that I've seen in the past.
We'll be deep in the heart of Africa. Deserters are shot. I think they'll do as told.
Well, yes, but we don't need them to be absolutely miserable. I'm sure you'll be able to pick the right ones for the job.
You haven't been in the jungle, have you?
Well, I've been in the jungle in Peru, and that was while I still had a lame leg. And ran around Singapore for a while, and that was while I still had a lame leg. So this excursion is actually going to be the easiest of any of them for me physically.
They both kind of smile. It's that bless your heart smile.
Oh, I just
Sweet
love
summer child.
condescending looks. Yeah, yeah. Oh, look, we're taking a woman with us. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
We'll see how they do
Well-
about 5 hours in.
We'll probably need also to request a bit of blood from someone.
That will be a much harder sell, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it.
It won't be much.
But I get why it's a hard sell. I'd rather tell you beforehand. I don't know how fresh this need to be. Could we just take blood packs with us?
No, it actually
Is
has
there
to be fresh.
blood packs in the 20s?
I
Yeah, it
would
might
need to
not
reread
exist.
the
It might
ritual,
be-
but I don't think so.
Yeah, better not risk it for a ritual. I know this all sounds crazy, but yeah, I don't have an excuse. It just needs to be done. Those
I mean-
cultists are more problematic than we will ever be. So let's use a
If I resume what the fine gentleman said, it's we will obey orders. So, I mean, they don't care that much about explanation. Am I right?
Oh, I just wanted to excuse myself from making sense. Like, I'm sorry, this is terrible and insane, but
But we're going to do it anyway, and we're asking you to come along.
and if things
Follow
get
orders.
strange over there, if you want explanation, I can try, but you're not gonna like it.
And it'd be best to do it after.
But should
Get
you
through it
ask
first.
should you ask for explanation, I'll provide whatever I can.
Why partake in those knowledges when you're not, when you do not have to?
Well, that's why we'll wait until after the ritual's complete.
When they've seen the thing they've seen, they'll decide if they want to know.
Would you?
I would, but I'm not an example. You might not want to
Bad
follow
example,
my
maybe.
stance. Yeah. My curiosity got me here. We'll see where theirs get them.
I was involved in this sort of thing long before I met up with Jackson Elias, so
I just wanted them to know that it was not me trying to keep secret from them, but assuming that they don't want to know until they decide otherwise. I'm fully
I'm
willing
sure-
to explain. Don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we have soldiers. Soldiers follow orders.
yes, but even a soldier sometimes decides that he'd rather not know. I mean, that's why Luther isn't with us now.
I mean, with all
took
due
some
respect,
time.
they look at you like if you were nuts,
Uh,
but they will
Not-
follow.
not the first time that I've had that particular look leveled at me. And it's definitely better than some other looks that I've had leveled at me, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I don't think it's worth it to try to convince them of the well-founded of the mission.
I
Fair.
just don't want them to turn back with the cult, start doing some freaky shit.
They maybe will. You cannot prepare anybody to do that. I mean, but these guys are soldiers.
You're right. You're right. I try to give us as much chance of succeeding as possible.
To be a good human, but if you ask me, the best way to have to maybe magnify our success chances is to shut the fuck up.
Wise words. Honestly,
And it's with all due respect, but I mean,
yep.
Gary
If
gets
I-
cranky.
I'm
when
gonna
he's
shut up
losing
now.
cards.
if you,
How much have you
if
lost tonight?
I won actually, I might be
Gary
a bit
gets cranky
drunk.
when he wins? Oh,
I might be a bit
That's-
drunk.
Not bar mitzvah
explains-
drunk, just a bit drunk.
Oh, it just The Sunday dinner drunk.
Okay, so mimosa drunk.
Yeah, I mean, I if someone told you that those knowledges would get you almost burned alive in a train in the middle of Kenya,
I probably
would
would
you?
have skipped Kenya.
Yeah, basically. So that's why I'm not trying to say that keep
Yeah.
them ignorant, but it's just
I think I said in my piece, like, if it
yeah,
gets tricky and you won't answer, I'll give them to you, and you're not gonna like them. But
steel is tempered in fire. I mean, and after in water.
yeah,
I think it was truly cute to see you like trying to prepare them. It was heartwarming.
let's say it like that. They're as not prepared to that shit as we are not prepared for the jungle.
We're not ready for shit.
Yeah, but we're not. We're specifically not prepared for the jungle.
Specifically. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I've been dealing with arch terrain for a while, but I'm used to desert.
I
Not
mean,
the
it's worse
jungle.
than New Jersey, so
The concrete jungle.
All right. So the rest of the weekend passes relatively uneventfully. You guys actually get some much needed rest. I think we did skill increases last time.
Yep.
And bright and early Monday morning, like reveille sounds. The base is awash with activity. And your group is ready to head out. And I mean, it's 120 men, so it's a fair size, kind of like.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Did I need to make a roll for the Book of Dyson?
Yes, I will do that for you.
Don't remember which language it was.
Book of Dizan is actually in English.
English, yeah. That's why I was able to read it.
And unfortunately, your skill in English is not sufficient yet.
Yep, I'll get there one day.
in the morning when I'm less cranky and less drunk, I'm just trying to tell to Eugene, I would have liked to be prepared before diving into that thing.
Yep, I get it. That was a bit harsh, but I got in at the same time as you. I mean, with that group, so I was not able to make some caution fall for that. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, but and not you. I mean, that's that stupid lawyer. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That book is is a bitch. But some we win, some we lose.
indeed we do. I'm sorry for yesterday, Miss Evelyn. I mean, I was beside myself.
I've heard worse.
I'll try to convince them once they've seen something terrible.
I hope it's not a contest, so that way I might stay in your good graces.
Well, the person I've heard worse from is still in my good graces, so you're all right.
Good, I have some leeway then.
A little bit.
Is it too early for a drink?
Not considering what we're gonna do
For
today.
me, no. For you, yes.
Okay then.
It all depends if we're having mimosa.
I mean, coffee might do you good.
Yeah, totally. And I drop a little bit of whiskey into a coffee.
Alrighty. And after breakfast and some fortified coffee, you guys are ready to set off.
That's the theory.
And there's not a lot of middle ground between Nairobi and the jungle. It's not a kind of gradual segue into the jungle. It's kind of like civilized area and then trees.
So a lot like New Brunswick then.
Yes.
I didn't know New Brunswick was civilized.
That is
Ouch!
excellent.
What was it?
I mean, it is all just hills and trees and water.
I don't do it because it's true. I do it because it's easy.
You do it
That
because
should
you
be
were
the
here
title
all
of your
along ago.
biography.
My exes would be offended.
We are plenty
Some of
civilized
them.
out here. All right. But yes, you guys head out ahead of this. We'll call it a wagon train, for lack of a better term. So there's like the soldiers, some of the enlistment also serve as porters for carrying all the sort of gear, the tents, the ammunition, the weapons, the medical supplies, and so on and so forth.
So nice to have someone else carry that stuff.
And you guys set off into the jungles of Kenya. And almost immediately, the kind of like heat and humidity kind of hit you. I mean, Nairobi is hot, but inside the jungle, it's like this like moist heat, and the jungle smells hit your nostrils. For some of you, this is the first time in a long while, if ever, you've been someplace kind of this remote, even though you know you're only like an hour or two from Nairobi. It may as well be an entirely different world. For Miles, this is in many ways just like coming home.
It's Monday.
There you go.
Miles, my good sir, you are a man amongst men.
I'm aware of that. It's a wonderful day for a hike, so deliciously moist.
Is it supposed
Moist
to be
is a
that
terrible
wet?
word.
It is a terrible word.
Is
more
is
damp than
anything
England
supposed
here.
to be that wet? Just
I can't remember. Is Kenya is it in the northern hemisphere or southern? It's northern, isn't it?
Hmm.
I'm just trying to remember if it's winter or if it's summer.
It's sticky and it's wet,
Yes, well,
which is odd, but mountainous. So
Kenya actually straddles the equator. So the answer is yes.
great. So we can do the Homer Simpson leap. I'm in the winter. I'm in the summer. Winter, summer, winter.
Yeah.
God.
Nairobi itself, in the area that you guys are in, is apparently 88 miles south of the equator.
So currently we're in summer. Lovely.
Yes, the average temperature is probably hovering right around like 24, 25 degrees.
That's
Celsius.
not bad. It's the humidity that's the worst part.
Celsius, yes, because we're Canadians.
Yes. Civilized temperatures.
No freedom units here.
That's right.
hamburger by Miles by tomatoes things.
I mean, I could transfer everything into Kelvin and confuse everyone.
Oh, there we go.
That's okay.
All right. So the smells and the kind of the clamminess, the clothes kind of sticking to you, the jungle sounds are unlike anything that you guys have heard in Evelyn's case since she was in Peru. Just like the birds and the animals and the monkeys and everything. Oddly enough, though, around your little group, no insects.
I'm okay with that.
Is it
Probably
like that
shouldn't be,
frog
but-
or something that's eating it?
Yep.
I forgot about the frog.
I didn't. She's like,
glad you remembered to bring it.
She's a lovely lady.
Yeah. She who is not what she seems is content in Miles's possession, occasionally feeding her.
Oh, the
supplies.
lizard!
If you want to keep your gun in hand, I can look for bugs for it.
Oh, I don't think there'll be any trouble in finding bugs.
Yeah, she has no trouble finding bugs, but they do seem to give you guys a fairly wide berth.
Yeah, that's why I was like, if they fear it, I might look to hunt them down to bring it to her. She's a lovely lady.
Yeah. And your first day of travel through the jungle is it's beautiful and it's scenic, but it is uneventful. You do occasionally see like some of the native African wildlife. Nothing dangerous, like no big cats, no hippopotami, nothing of that nature.
Those beasts.
Yeah.
Also good.
Should have ridden hippopotami to battle.
But they are, Miles, you're aware that they are out there. But a large part of the reason why the group travels together is because a large group like this will keep some of the predators at bay.
Cool. So nobody looks like they're following us or paying attention to us like that for now?
No, there is no sign of anybody other than your party.
I'm gonna keep an eye on inward to the soldier, just because I paranoid and bloody tongues could be everywhere here. So keeping an eye on the.
They are in the fruits.
It might be in the bottom of that glass, but I'm gonna keep an eye on the soldiers and just be paranoid a bit.
All right. The folks who are keeping an eye open can give me spot hidden rolls.
I assume enough people are looking outward, so I'm gonna look inward. Not good at it, but I'm gonna try.
So yeah, as you guys travel on, and I mean it's travel through the jungle with a large group of people. It is slow. You have plenty of time to like keep your eyes open. I mean, for Evelyn, there's a bunch of animals here that you've only like read about, maybe seen in a zoo at some point. Different lizards and snakes and birds and all of that sort of thing. But after probably about the better part of the day, after probably like a good solid 8 hours of travel with meal breaks and stuff like that, you're starting to get like into much deeper jungle. Eugene, you do notice that some of the enlisted men, some of the locals, they start casting their eyes around. They definitely seem to be a little bit more on guard. Evelyn and Miles, you do see periodically in some of these trees, like small little crafted symbols, kind of like if you've seen the little Blair Witch symbols.
I was going to say little Blair Witch dolls.
That sort of thing. Just like periodically here and there in the trees.
Can I do an occult or something on that?
That is definitely an occult roll or an anthropology roll.
I would definitely like to make an occult roll.
Damn.
I was going to say, who got the one? Was it me or you? I couldn't tell.
It was Evelyn. This is her bread and butter.
I
This
mean,
is her
I
entire
must say
life.
that I did an anthropology instead of an occult because I'm better at that.
Yeah. So Evelyn, these are definitely like protective things. Nothing related to the mythos, just like general, like shamanistic protection. Eugene, you recognize that it basically means that there's probably someplace relatively nearby, maybe a small village or something that is kind of like trying to protect the area that they consider theirs from evil spirits.
Does it has any correlation to what I learned from the village chief?
Only in a very broad sense.
Because I know that there was the Cthulhu mythos part of it, but there was lots of cultural belief through it. So, just wondering if they're close by religiously.
You would recognize these as you got a hard success. You would recognize these as symbols of the Kikuyu people. Kikuyu, Kikuyu.
I'm gonna offhand remark that to our officer that we are on tribal ground. I assume they know, but just so we don't get surprised.
Noted. Thank you. Interestingly, apparently in the modern day there are 42 different Kenyan tribes, ethnic groups.
Cool.
Wow. The things you learn. But yeah, these are like definitely protective markings. And the fact that these protective markings are here means that for both Eugene and Evelyn, the people who put them here obviously believe there is something to protect from, which probably explains why the locals are looking around a little bit more.
But it also means that they believe these things do actually offer protection.
Yes.
Which is good.
Other than that, though, nothing comes and eats you. It's all quiet. Time comes to start setting up camp. They find a large enough clearing where they can kind of group the tents relatively close together. The lieutenants start organizing. Basically, they organize watches. They also organize a fire picket just in case. Like all of the standard like military operations for in camping. You guys can have your own tents. That's easy enough.
Nice.
Food is prepared. It's not great. They figure that maybe tomorrow they'll take some time to do some hunting, see if they can find something fresher. But for today, they made good time. Everybody's in really good spirits.
Let's have the terrible food while everyone is high-spirited.
Nighttime. I'm going to get everybody to give me a luck roll.
Uh-oh.
Make sure to sleep close to Ishu is not what she looks like. For the bugs.
I mean, horrible luck.
Okay. Eugene actually has the lowest luck. Okay. Well, the lowest luck of those who failed.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody beds down. Who's bedding with who? Are you guys all just staying in one tent?
I want to make sure I sleep close to the lizard.
Okay.
So I don't get eaten by the bugs at night.
I like that idea too. I would prefer that we all stayed in one tent.
Yeah, or as close as possible.
We've had far too many eventful nights for me to feel comfortable sleeping alone out here. We've seen what happens when we're in hotels in the middle of a city.
So you know, it's easy enough. I mean, these are like the large military-style tents. They sleep like a dozen people, so no worries there. You guys all go to sleep. Gary, you know, at first,
Sir, yes, sir.
you kind of like toss and turn a little bit. I mean, it's the noise of the jungle takes some getting used to, and just when you think you know, you start to drift off, and then you hear something, and you're like, "Oh, was that a lion?
I
Was
hate
that a
it here.
hippopotamus?"
Those
I
damn
freaking hate it
hippopotamus.
here.
So you just kind of like, you know, kind of close your eyes, kind of take some deep breaths, and you kind of like just kind of like listen to the beat of your heart. Kind of soothing, relaxing, and it becomes kind of steadier in a way, and kind of louder, until it starts to sound like a drum beat. And then you hear multiple drum beats.
I'm gonna just shake one of my companions.
What's up? What's happening?
Are they drum beats or am I drunk and I did not drink?
Shake off and just try to focus on the whatever sound he's hearing.
You don't
See
hear
if I
anything.
anything.
You don't hear anything.
No, I don't hear drums. Maybe my hearing is a bit worse than you, but I don't hear them.
Nah, that it must be a me problem. I'm sorry, Eugene.
It's all right. Rather you wake me than we get surprised by a group of drummers. A drum
Who would
circle.
attack the British Army? I'm sorry. Let's get back to it.
Okay.
Eugene.
Yep.
After Gary is kind of like shaking you and kind of is hearing things, but you didn't hear anything. Must just be his overactive city boy imagination.
I mean, lots of things makes noise here. He might have confounded something with drums or something. I'll just go in deaf.
But when you finally like kind of close your eyes and drift off to sleep, you find yourself surrounded by a large group of naked men and women. All of them obviously native to Kenya. All of them wearing these like strange red headdresses, chanting in some foreign language. A very tall African woman, strikingly beautiful, kind of like steps towards you and starts to intone something in a different language, something vile and obscene. And as she does, her voice gets louder and louder. And you find yourself joining in the chant. And then you get gripped by terrible pain as your flesh rips. You kind of collapse to the floor in this dream, overwhelmed by these convulsions. And as your spine kind of cracks into a new form, you feel this hunger. And as you do, from out of the crowd, this group of 3 shackled people, obviously prisoners, are kind of brought forward, and you find yourself kind of rising up in like this great like black column that used to be your body. Your jaws open, like unhinging like a snake's, as you devour your first meal. I need a sanity roll.
That's terrible.
Yep, this is awful. This is not like the bar mitzvah.
No, that is definitely a dinner at my aunt's.
Can I can't luck on sanity, eh?
You cannot luck on sanity,
Then I won't.
but it's only 1 point.
Yeah.
But as
Do I wake up from
well,
that?
as you devour this first meal, you can find, as you consume these victims, these 3 shackled prisoners, you can feel their bodies merging with your own, and then their mouths join you in the chant, and that's when you wake up screaming.
Wait, what?
What the? So, just Eugene wakes up like sitting in his bed. His eyes are wide and wild. This place is
Eugene?
not good for me. The nightmares are getting harsh. I need to go wash.
All right.
Are you gonna be okay?
Maybe you should go with him.
I will. I was not fast asleep anyway.
Sorry, who did the scream?
Eugene.
Oh, okay, that was Gary's.
I excuse
Could
myself.
have.
Excuse myself, and I go try to find a basin of water, and a mirror. Wash my face, get my nightshirt off, and just check my wounds. Make sure nothing is riddling or moving or anything like that. Try to reassure me after that I'm not changing. So I checked the burn wound and the older wounds in the mirror. Just cleaning them and just checking, making sure.
Nope, they seem fine.
Gosh.
Is that those vampires, those fire vampire dreams?
I dreamed of being stuck in some rituals with people from around here, and my body changed and I became something else.
You still as ugly as yesterday.
Good thing.
I say that as a joke. We're
Oh
supposed
yeah.
to laugh. That was the point there.
Yep. And I'm actually glad that I'm just still ugly as yesterday.
But if you feel like changing, or if you feel that you are changing, feel free to tell about it. I mean, I think secrets are between our tight group might be something to avoid.
Yeah, that's why I'm explaining what I've dreamt about. I don't think it was anything else than a dream, but they can send us. There are some rituals that sends you image while you dream. Might be
Probably.
fucking with us.
I mean, we were not jungle ready. They told us.
Oh yeah, I know. I knew I was not jungle ready. It's just that like this wound was caused by the fire vampires, and this over there was done by somebody trying to wither me down to just. So all of this is ravaged by those people.
They tried to wither you down. You used to be bigger than that.
Oh, I used to be prettier.
I mean, being pretty is it's overrated.
Oh yeah. I used to be younger, but all of those wounds, the dreams made me fear that they might be more something else.
That's a good thing to check, Dan.
Yeah. Don't think it's rooted in anything. Nothing is moving. Nothing is changed. I'm just as riddled with scars I was yesterday. Scars still in the same place. I'll be glad if at the end of this I still have a face.
Let's try to.
Not sure I'll be able to sleep again tonight, though.
You want a drink?
Yeah. Try not to
While
go
listening to the absent drum.
Let's try not to go too deep in the bottle, but a drink would be nice. And
Better than books.
I'll try to listen carefully for the noise of the drums. But I might be getting deaf, though.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Go.
And eventually, perhaps with the aid of some alcohol, Eugene manages to get some sleep. For the rest of you, the night is quiet. As quiet as the jungle gets at any rate. Morning comes bright and early. The normal cacophony of the jungle wakes you up. Takes you a moment to kind of remember where you are, and then you're like, oh, right.
Loud.
Fucking Jersey.
Yeah. But there seems to be some sort of commotion outside your tent.
Sort of pull my hair back into something that resembles respectability and check what's happening outside.
It looks like they're in the process of organizing a search party. The two lieutenants are like organizing people. Their guides are like, basically gathering groups.
What's happening?
3 men disappeared last night. Maybe superstition got the better of them.
Let's hope so. Better superstition than anything else.
But we're gonna take a look around, see if we can see any sign of them. We're not going to spend too long on it. But just in case.
All right. I'd like to say I'm surprised, but not particularly, to be honest.
And so the groups start kind of moving out in a search pattern-ish fashion.
I'm gonna participate because they're there to help us, so we should at least look interested.
Help them.
Okay. Are you joining one of the search parties, or are you guys forming your own? Or
yes. No, I'm trying to listen to orders.
Okay. So they'll basically like the one of the guides is kind of like big black gentleman named Tombo. Basically assigned you to one of the groups. And any of the others, any of the rest of you that want to take part, will get assigned to random groups.
How many are missing?
3.
So glad Eugene didn't tell us details about his dream.
Yep. Ginny is currently like livid and just hoping.
And yeah, so you guys take a look around. No sign of any individuals. But after probably about a half hour or so of searching, a little distance away, one of the groups finds animal prints on the ground. And then there's some pretty rapid fire discussion back and forth in Swahili between the men. You see some of them look a little bit nervous. One of the lieutenants, like kind of close enough that you guys can overhear him. It's like, "What did you find?" And one of the guys comes says, "Leopard prints. Big cats from the look of it." And folks can give me a natural lore roll.
I was 3 points away, but I'll keep my luck.
Oh no, we were counting on Miles.
Whoops.
3 points. That's not bad. I mean, you're a lot closer than the rest of us, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I'm still just at 37 luck.
Oh, ouch. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, they do a cursory look, but as far as they can tell, leopards came in the night and took away 3 people. You guys can tell a number of these people don't seem convinced by that. But they kind of like, leopards. Yep. Let's go. But they are not convinced.
Can I go take a look at the marks?
Sure can.
I'd like to do that.
Great. That is a tracking roll.
Track. I'm gonna spend the 3 luck.
So you take a look at these tracks they found. They are definitely cat prints.
Mm-hmm.
They're too small to be a lion or a tiger. Leopard is the next logical conclusion. But yes, it looks like there are several. Like the way they're spaced, you can tell it was more than one leopard.
Does it look anything like the creature that I dreamt I was?
No.
Okay.
In as much as this looks like a leopard, and that looked like something out of your nightmare. Literally.
Okay.
No, these are definitely big cat prints. Definitely, leopard is the logical thing. Like a big leopard, judging from the depth of it, probably somewhere in the vicinity of 175, 180 pounds, which is a big beefy leopard. But what strikes you as odd is the tracks don't, like, they're not near the camp. It's not like the leopards like snuck into the camp and took out the guards. It's more like the guards were away from the camp when the leopards took them.
When I come back to group, I'm gonna mention we better check to make sure nobody sleepwalk away from the camp.
How so?
Maybe I had some nightmare, as you know, yesterday.
Mhm.
Considering where I found the marks, the people who've been taken by those big cats would have been a fair bit away from the camp. And if those nightmare are sent by the people from the mountain, they might have side effect. I might have waked up early enough to avoid that. I was afraid there would be more correlation between my dream and the marks, but luckily it was not directly one-to-one to the things I dreamt. But I would still keep a lookout for Sleepwalker.
So you think they, had the same dream that you did?
I think they might have had a dream and followed it in their sleep.
Oh.
My dream might have tried to convince me to follow it in their dream. Just wake up early enough for it not to happen. It's just a theory. I'm not sure of what I'm advancing, but it feels like it could be that. I don't think we can watch everyone out, but at least among ourselves, it might be a good idea to check for that.
Have someone keep watch while we're sleeping? Would that help, do you think?
Possibly, yes.
All right, we'll need to keep that in mind then for tonight. I'm not particularly convinced that they'll take me seriously if I make that suggestion. Miles, however, big game hunter that he is,
I'm sorry, what do you want me to vouch for?
well, Eugene's theory is that some of the other fellows in camp had the same sort of nightmares that he had. But where he woke up, they were sleepwalking, possibly?
Because from the marks I saw on the ground, if those people were taken by those cats, by the way, there was not one cat, it was numerous cat. And I don't know if those panthers, jaguars, unseen ban usually, but from the marks, it was like more than one, a bunch of them.
Miles, as Eugene says, like that's something that's been kind of nagging at you is the fact that leopards are solitary hunters.
Having knowledge that your character have not, I must bite my tongue.
But yes, Miles. Now that Eugene has said, yeah, leopards are, with the exception of when they're mating, they will sometimes hunt with their mate. But other than that, leopards are solitary creatures.
How many sets of tracks did you say you found?
At least 3.
I found that suspicious, but I don't know leopard much. But it's just, I don't think, like, I haven't seen cats hunting in groups of cats.
Leopards are usually solitary hunters unless they're perhaps with their mate. So if these are leopards, let me rephrase that. If these are proper leopards, as I kind of point to our unusual lizard in its cage, then they likely have been coerced somehow to do this, is my guess.
And you said that look, this is for Chris, that the mark didn't feel anything like what I dreamt of.
No.
So the missing people were not turned into leopard. Eugene says out loud. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that is, but I think we should suggest. I assume the guards have night people watching.
Yeah, they had guards posted.
But I don't know what we could explain that to the soldiers, but if somebody sleepwalk out of the camp, you need to stop them.
We'll double up on watches tonight, just in case.
I think there's much more we can do here. I don't think we want to go hunting leopard.
Mm, mm, I don't know. Were there signs of their footprints, or were they dragged off? Was there blood to suggest they might have been partially eaten?
I checked and I followed the leopard step and I found only leopard step. I didn't find a scene for
No signs of it being dragged or anything either.
No blood, no nothing.
nothing that I could find.
Right. Miles, give me a natural lore roll.
Yeah.
Oof. Miles, it is not uncommon for leopards to, basically because they are the best climbers in the Big Cat Kingdom. It's not uncommon for a leopard to attack its prey from above and drag it up into the trees.
All right, if we're going to do this, we have to look in all directions, including up, because leopards like to live in trees, and when they jump down to ambush, they will sometimes take their meals up into the trees to eat them.
Well, I must say, Miles, I need to thank you today because I have a new fear now. 3 cats.
You're quite welcome.
Oh dear.
Parachute cats are gonna get you.
After the river horses, the parachute cats, like this keeps on giving.
Well,
I guess with this important realization, does anybody look up?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. As soon as he said that, I was looking up. Like I had a moment of panic.
Might be the better question.
I had a moment of panic.
Right. So as Miles mentions this, and everybody kind of like looks up into the canopy, spot hidden rolls.
I don't wanna.
make that.
I thought you were going to be a super dick and call game there.
Can we volunteer to fail?
You can choose not to look. You can be like, I'm not
Oh,
looking up.
Evelyn's gonna. Are you kidding me? Of course, Evelyn's
I don't
gonna
even have enough luck. I don't have enough luck.
Gary got it because he absolutely could not look at his shoes if he was looking up.
Yeah.
Impossible to see his shoes.
All right. So
Does leopard has shoes?
So as Miles mentions this, and the fact that the leopards are quite capable of like muscling a full-grown antelope up into a tree, and everybody kind of like takes a moment, kind of looks up, and everybody's like, there's like this sigh of relief from everybody, except for Gary, who definitely sees a human body up in the tree.
Sir?
Yes.
Yeah. What?
I'm pointing to the body up in the air.
Right. The young lieutenant there, Higgins, kind of looks up, like, kind of like very quickly crosses himself. Like, oh. All right, we should get him down. And he starts telling men to get him down. He looks like he's a little shaken by this.
Eugene's gonna bring out his little silver amulet and rub it as a good luck charm kind of movement.
So basically Higgins organizes people getting the body down. Hensley organizes people to basically do another sweep around looking up this time. And you do recover all 3 bodies, all up in the trees.
Are the wounds logical for?
Yes, they
Dead
are.
cat?
They
Okay.
they are to Miles's trained eye. They are 100% leopard bites.
Eugene's gonna let out a sigh of I don't know how to say that, but relief.
And you guys notice though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, as we find each body, are there multiple sets of leopard prints at each tree?
No, there are not. But it does look like there was definitely more than one leopard, but there's not like 3 leopards at each tree sort of thing or anything of that nature. It's not like it wasn't a large pack. It looks like it was like 3, maybe 4 individual cats.
So they converged on one spot at the very least as an ambush, and then they might have just each taken one to a different tree.
Well, it might rule out the sleepwalking theory. But those leopard were awfully bold to go and catch someone in a camp with that much people around.
Is that unusual, Miles?
Well, were they on duty?
They were part of the watch, and all 3 of them, all 3 of them were like on the same watch because the camp is big enough that there's like a dozen people on watch at a time, sort of thing.
Okay. Are leopards usually bold enough to try to go into a camp?
It's rare for leopards to be man-eaters. There are some. There's one that Miles would be familiar with from at this point about 2 decades back. In 1901, there was a single leopard responsible for over 20 human deaths. But it's rare. They're not known to be man-eaters. But kind of going down this line of thought, Miles, as you're like looking at these bodies haven't been eaten. Like the normally the cats would go for like the like the sweet meats, the internal organs, that sort of thing. None of that. These people were killed and not eaten. More accurately, killed and left and not eaten.
So I have another. These leopards. Well, let's go with the leopard theory. It works for now. Whatever killed these fine gentlemen, let's say they are leopards, they were not killed for food because there's far too much of them left. I think they were killed, if we're going to go down the big rabbit hole of everything we're here to go into, I'm going to speculate at this point that they were killed and left here, possibly as a message for us to turn back or some such, which would lend credence to my idea that perhaps they were being coerced or controlled by our opponents.
Oh,
That is a terrifying prospect.
It would tie with the dream I had.
how?
3 people died in my dream, and the people in the cult around me made sure to make me understand that it was my fault.
and I heard drum beats all around for a while during the night.
Drum beats.
Yeah, but as I talked to Eugene, I was the only one hearing them, so I didn't make much of it.
Well, I see. Guards at night, definitely are new.
If they did send a dream like I think they did, that was a clear warning that the people who die will die because of us.
Yes, but we knew that coming in, didn't we?
Yeah, but they wanted to hammer the point.
It was not for us. It was for
No.
the people that are accompanying us.
They're trying to scare off the military.
Fuck, you're trying to scare all of us off.
I mean, that's probably true too, but all right. We can't very well turn back. So
One way or another,
Our-
this needs to be done. So
our brave defenders will just have to employ their stiff upper lip, won't they? They were quite determined to tell me how brave and bold they were and how very suited they were to the task. So I will expect them to uphold that. Right?
yes,
Good.
yes, and
Good.
let's make sure that they have all the knowledge they need to do the best they can. But let's avoid the part that will not be useful.
Maybe they'll take us seriously now. Since Miles is the expert on proper animal behavior, I'm sure they'll take him quite seriously.
Well, if we assume that animal might be acting in ways that are uncharacteristic as they are being directed by exteriors people, it might inform the way they stand guard.
True.
That would be a start.
Right. So as you guys are having this conversation and they're retrieving the bodies, they do take the time to have to put them properly to rest. You can tell though that the folks are a little bit on the nervous side.
I can't say why.
But by probably around lunchtime, everybody's ready to go on.
All right.
And you guys pick up and carry on.
Yeah.
As best we can.
Everybody's a little bit more on edge. Everybody's kind of watching, looking, making sure you're not being followed. Miles, you know that it's probably about 6 days to the mountain. Traveling through the jungle with this many people. So you've still got quite a ways ahead of you. The next day, though, this day, the rest of this day, quiet and uneventful. Animals making animal sounds, jungle making jungle sounds. Every once in a
What
while,
Tony said, apparently jungle are very loud.
yes. Every once in a while, you know, there's something that sounds like a little bit out of the ordinary, and everybody kind of like stops for a second. Turns out that it was, you know, just the death scream of a monkey off in the distance.
Hey, Chris, can I ask one more leopard question quickly?
Absolutely.
Are they generally nocturnal? I forget, Esmar.
They are absolutely nocturnal.
Okay, thank you.
But speaking of, the second day passes. Everybody sets up camp. Watches are assigned. They do double and in some cases even triple up on the watches. They have more than enough men to do so. But the night passes uneventfully.
Only a Cthulhu keeper of arcane lore can say that in a terrifying way.
Nothing happens. Why does it feel so menacing? Nothing. The night passes uneventfully should not sound ominous.
And yet,
And yet, it's almost more dreadful than if something had happened.
It's just that the next thing will be horrible.
Yep. And the next morning, they do a head count, and everybody is accounted for.
Good.
no bad dream tonight. No more than usual, I mean.
No more than usual. Nobody woke up screaming any more than usual.
Well, that's good. Triple watch seems to have worked. As long as everyone can stay awake while we're marching, walking, moseying, we should be fine. Right?
I think so.
Honestly, I'm expecting. Hey, Chris, besides leopards, what else? Are there other predatory cats around here?
Oh yes, Kenya is home to all sorts of predatory cats.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm wondering mainly if I can assess, are our greater threats more likely at night or during the day, or is the answer yes?
The answer is yes. You're probably more at danger at night, just because humans tend to not be as aware at night. But the two largest cats are both not necessarily diurnal, but lions and tigers both hunt day and night, and they are both of them are a very big threat in Kenya. But with this many people on the move, you're probably, in Miles's estimation, a large number of people like this moving during the day is probably safe. It's when you're stationary and settled down and humans have shitty night vision. You're probably way more susceptible to danger from any cats at night.
Right. Okay. Thank you. As Miles ponders, trying to give some good news, and then bites his tongue as he realized what he was going to say is not accurate.
The good news is there's no good news.
Slightly less than worse news.
Kind.
But yes, everybody. I mean, everybody's in a slightly more solemn mood today. But it doesn't take that long really until once once the camp is packed up and everybody's had some breakfast and starts to move. Things feel better. Things feel normal.
I can feel the quotes around that.
Yeah, Chris is really good at speaking in quotes.
Right?
It's one of his most terrifying talents as a dungeon master. I hear the quotes.
I can enunciate air quotes.
Yes, I hear it.
That and hearing the glee when you give us horrible details.
Right. So as you guys traveled on this third day, you're probably about halfway to the mountain, according to Miles's map and navigation. Basically, you're traveling kind of like northeast from Kenya. The air is kind of like clear and exhilarating. You've kind of gotten used to that kind of jungle funkiness. To some extent, at the very least, and according to your map, Miles, you're going to be going through an area that's like a kind of a saddle-shaped pass through the mountains, like through the beginnings of the Aberdare Range, called the Nyeri Nanyuki Corridor. And this area actually, as you kind of probably around like late morning, start making your way through this corridor, and it's actually not jungle, it's more like a meadow. But as you start making your way through this meadow, I'll get everybody to give me spot hidden rolls.
Nope. Well, the thing
Poor
is,
Gary. Gary's
no
not going to be.
There's no shoes in the jungle, so
Gary's not going to be traumatized by like the mythos or anything. It's the other shit he sees.
the jungle and
The stuff that could be completely natural and normal is what's going to get to Gary.
Yep. Spotted hidden is such a bad skill. I mean, if you notice stuff, you're gonna go insane, and if you don't, you die. That's
yeah.
Neither one is good.
Sometimes we have people with very high spot hidden that have made one chance, and people with absolutely no spot hidden that have made the other.
So Gary, you notice that the ground underfoot feels a little spongier than it did. You're like, okay, that's a little weird. And then you kind of notice that there's a section of this pass. There's a section of this meadow, probably about a half mile wide. That with your extreme success, the animal trails go completely around that area.
I innocently try to point that out to our guide.
The guide kind of like looks, says, it says like heavily accented English, says, if the animals avoid that, we should as well. And he just like nods sagely.
Oh yeah. If they do, I don't want to go there. It might be a mire or some shit.
Let's obey the laws of nature.
I'm just relaying the information from the guide, but you tell your men to avoid this whole area. Might be dangerous.
And I will get everybody to give me a power roll.
Oh, crap. Not even close.
Evelyn?
Yeah. I'm getting all my bad rolls out tonight.
Damn.
Although we've already faced the dragon tomorrow night,
and,
so...
And I just fucked up. Only people able to do roll tonight is Gary.
Gary is having an amazingly terrible time.
I mean,
Gary's our guy.
Miles did spot a lot of things, but
Yeah.
It's my time to shine. The guy that is least supposed to be there ever.
I mean, you're the best of us in towns, but we're in the jungle right now.
I am so afraid of everything that I'm extra aware.
Or most powerful weapon is paranoia.
Right. So Gary and Evelyn.
What? I don't know. Shit.
Yep. Shit.
Okay.
Both of you, feel this corruption, this tangible taint upon this area of the meadow. It's cold and it's cloying and it's like almost feels like it's pulling at your soul, Gary. Evelyn, it is pulling at your soul.
Oh no.
What soul?
Don't make that joke.
Right. And you find yourself kind of like almost like a bird's eye view.
Who?
You.
Damn.
You with the critical failure.
Yeah.
It's like a bird's eye view of this meadow. There's a group traveling through here. Judging from the clothing, looks like a safari. Bunch of like local porters, some Europeans leading them. You recognize that that's the Carlisle expedition. And you see the expedition kind of like stops for a moment. And the Europeans start kind of like looking around, not necessarily looking for anything, just kind of looking around. Then your vision kind of changes, and it looks like they've set up camp here. It's nighttime now. And you hear chanting and drumming, and you see the various assorted porters like looking up at the sky in horror, looking towards you in horror from your bird's eye view. You hear the flapping of wings, and you see these large monstrous creatures descend from the sky. tearing the various assorted porters apart. The whole time, the members of the expedition like laughing maniacally, definitely like way beyond the point of insanity at the slaughter around them. And kind of superimposed over them, you see this colossal figure, like easily 10, 15, 20 stories tall, with a large red tongue or tentacle where its head should be. And you come to the realization that you are standing feet away from the Carlisle expedition supposedly died. And that's why this area is so tainted. And I'm going to need you to make a sanity roll.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable. Wow.
Only 3 points.
Uh-huh. Only 3 out of my daily 9. Okay.
Something's not right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, because Evelyn has just kind of stopped in the middle of the field and is just blankly staring. At
Are
least
you
for
okay,
a moment
ma'am?
or two.
Evelyn, Miss Evelyn?
Am I able to respond, Chris? Or have I, like, once this vision kind of clears?
Yeah, once the vision clears, you kind of like snap out of it.
um, yeah, yes, Mm-hmm.
No, there's something wrong here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is. We should leave as soon as possible. We should very much go. We should go. Just.
So let's do that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna offer an arm to Evelyn and just skedaddle away from that place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Evelyn seems kind of skittish when you first offer your arm, but she does link her arm through yours and seems quite eager to leave the meadow.
It feels more like security than politeness right now.
She seems
very
eager
much
to.
takes up on that.
She seems eager to GTFO, as the young
Oh,
man
yes.
says.
You've been offered lots of arm by people who are just polite. This is just, I don't
Mhm.
trust this place.
Yep. This definitely feels more like being offered an arm by Luther than
Yeah.
being offered an arm by pretty much anybody else.
We've met a few of those gentlemen kind of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her grip is probably a little tighter than is comfortable.
Eugene's look over the cursed spot, but is very eager to get away from it. Just like there's a little bit of fear behind his eye that something's gonna pop out of the ground.
If Eugene is afraid and not excited by it, I mean, it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's the worst kind. Eugene get excited by the bad stuff and terrified by the worst stuff.
So yeah, we're trying to move as quickly as possible away from that terrible place. Please, sir.
All right.
Soon.
So yeah, so everybody kind
I
of
saw the
picks up.
sky moving in the hours. I was like, okay, Chris has understood that we were getting away.
Yeah. So yeah, so you guys kind of pick up and continue. You know, everybody gives that area a very wide berth. You see some of the people kind of like holding their little like superstitious tchotchkes and things of that nature. And everybody, you didn't realize everybody was kind of collectively holding their breath until they're past this area. and then there's almost like an audible sense of relief and like a sigh as everybody's like, okay, the bad part is behind us now. We can continue. The next night, quiet and uneventful.
As we're sort of bunking down.
Yep.
And it's just once it's just our group in our tent, everyone's kind of done checking in and making announcements and seeing if anyone wants anything for the night or any stuff. Evelyn will explain in sort of vague terms what she saw. The meadow back there. That is where the Carlisle expedition quite deliberately staged their deaths. It was no accident. There was no ambush. There was...
They just... Okay.
They called something down to kill their escorts. They caused it. They invited it.
Damn. That is grim.
So wait, they called something, and those things killed their guides as well as them. They just let themselves
No.
be sacrificed.
No. They killed the guides.
Okay, and
While the
So what-
Carlisle expedition watched.
And they let
Laughing.
everybody presume that they were dead, kind of deal.
Yes.
That is fucked up. We kind of expected something like that because they're still alive,
Mm-hmm.
but it was not vagaries of opportunity. They just made it happen.
I was... Chris,
Yes.
as this occurs to me, we've met. Haven't we met, like, at least one member in person?
Yes.
And were they laughing too?
No. Brady was not there.
Okay. Good. I mean, he's probably dead, but still, I'd rather not think that of him.
From what he told you when you met him in Shanghai, Brady and Roger left before this point.
Okay.
So Chris, hasn't this always been painted, whether it's to us or in the media, that like the expedition as a whole were wiped out or went missing?
Yes, they were all killed. There were a bunch of tribesmen that were put on trial and executed for it. But you guys have found Jack Brady and Roger Carlyle both alive. One in Brady's in Shanghai. Carlisle's in an asylum in Hong Kong. You have evidence that Aubrey Penhew is also in Shanghai. And Robert Houston is in Australia. The only unaccounted for member of the expedition is Hypatia Masters, who was Carlisle's girlfriend at the time.
One we suspect to be Evie with the child of the dark god.
The one that you expect to be heavy with the child of a dark god.
And sorry, it was Brady and who had already left?
Roger Carlyle himself.
Okay.
Roger Carlyle that we've seen in completely batshit insane in the asylum in Hong Kong,
Yep.
Yep.
and Brady that probably died storming the castle for his girlfriend.
Yep.
Yep.
This was after Brady and Roger had already parted ways with the rest of the group.
Correct.
No, Evelyn's announcing to the rest of them. But the rest of the group just sacrificed them.
And actually, Evelyn, you can give me a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
Oh, damn. Okay. No, not tonight.
Nope.
Did anybody in your vision seems like they were doing a ritual?
Oh, hell yes.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, or just one of them?
Oh, all of them.
They were all taking part.
Yeah. I was hoping that there was an epicenter to that, like one person specifically that we need to stop among them, but probably all of them.
They were all involved.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad we're not in that clearing anymore, because it was rather like walking through a graveyard.
Maybe Alvin could have spotted some clues and stuff, but I'd rather us be far away from that than have clues on what happened.
I'm really not sure what other clues we need. We know
That
what
would be my
happened
answer,
there.
but I'm sure he has something witty to say about that. Glad he's sleeping.
He has issues with some of the things that I see. So
Yeah.
waiting until he was already asleep wasn't an accident.
I just don't want him to uncover something that would break his mind.
He carries a gun far too often, yes.
Guys,
Mm-hmm.
what are you gonna do after all of that? Assuming we survive.
Oh, after all, I thought you meant after this little conversation I was going to suggest a strong drink and then trying to sleep.
Sounds good.
After everything is
I suggest a strong
complete.
drink and a long night.
Strong drink and a good sleep then would be nice too. Yes, I suppose so. I'll be going to New York to see a friend,
I need to.
providing I'm alive.
We have some friends that are in Arkham. I made some promise to try to get them something better than Arkham.
From what I've heard, there's not much more thing that are better than Arkham.
Here, no. Somewhere else there might be.
Possibly. Something in New England, maybe.
Well, cheers to that. And I pour drinks.
All right.
Cheers to that, indeed.
I don't have a wife waiting for me somewhere. I don't. My library. I used to have a shop, but it got repossessed. Didn't make enough sales.
It's sad.
Yep. I would have come back to that, but one of my Another fellow was selling books took over. Wouldn't want to see that place under his leadership, let's say. I'm not in a hurry to go back there.
That's
Nothing
interesting.
comes good from books. I mean, you get religion or science.
Or all of this.
Whatever this is. Maybe you could join Miles on his expeditions. No books in sight. Just
As
you and
dire
the
as
woods.
as dire as it may sound, I almost hope I do not see through it.
That's indeed grim.
I mean, I lost pretty much everything before coming here, so I have no family anymore. I mean, about no morals anymore. I am now a murderer. And the things I've seen, I will never be able to talk about it. Even
Well,
poker is kind of tasting bitter in my mouth.
that's just sad. There are some people you can talk to about this sort of thing. There's a sort of uneasy group of us who know.
Fraternity of the people who are plagued by all of this shit.
I'm sure you and Luther could get up to some trouble. You can come back to New York with me.
Oh, I'm coming back to New York. I mean, I'm in lack of carbon dioxide. The air
Nothing
here
Again,
quite
is
like a
small.
New York
pure,
winter. Not a tree in sight. Unless you
but
go to the
yeah,
park.
I mean, it helps me when we do things because I don't think about what's gonna come after. But
Yeah. I'm just when we were stuck in the dreamland,
Mm.
I saw hope for somebody who's gone batshit insane to come back to his senses. So if I
That's a
can only do it,
possibility.
if I can only do a good thing, it's gonna be try to bring those who begged with their mind for trying to save the world to just repay them a little bit of kindness and try to bring them over there.
That would be good.
Think so.
And I mean, we know. Well, I don't really know how to get in. I'm not entirely sure I remember what I did that
I know that it's possible. That's enough to
took us
start with.
there. Yes.
It's enough to start with.
Um, I could try. I could try again to get us there, or
With a
deliberately this time.
without the beastie,
Ah, I mean that would take more research. The beastie is as far as I can tell, the only way I know right now.
I mean, I
Or we
was
could
just
try
saying.
to go backwards through the stairs.
I mean,
Um,
I was saying that because I get the feeling of not having much to look forward to, but this is something I can hang on to whatever happens to me.
mhm.
I might have that to learn from you.
Sadly, it's not the first
if
time I've lost everything.
if you if you do decide to do that, and I am not one of the people that you're taking there to try to uh,
Save from their
recover,
madness.
the friend in New York. We should try to take him along.
Yeah.
He was a soldier, and the incident with the dynamite
That
damaged him
is such
in
a
a
funny
few ways.
sentence.
It seems so ordinary, doesn't it? But
Is that mundane compared to everything? Right? I mean, compared to like.
terribly mundane. At least it sounds that way on the surface. So I'm going to leave it sounding quite mundane. But he was injured physically. And after what happened with my leg, maybe we could help him with his arm.
Oh yeah, that could work.
And also maybe take some stress off of his mind. Because it was
Is it the large fellow that Carter told me about?
No, that was Salvatore Caputo.
Okay.
He's the one that he's the one that Captain Montgomery knows, or at least knows of.
Okay. Yeah.
And thought would be traveling with us. No, this is Luther.
Oh,
Captain
Carter.
Luther Pratt.
Oh, the pilot.
The pilot, yes.
He was with you in Peru, I think.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
Peru.
Carter and Elias told me a bit about your excursion in Peru. That was a lot.
I can say with a great deal of confidence that I prefer traveling on.
With the army?
Well, yes, and without a cane.
Oh yeah,
because it was grueling.
Oh, right? Yeah, Elias told me that you were. Well, yeah, it was rough.
It was rough. I will say I was younger and far more energetic about the whole ordeal because it was there's a bit more adrenaline involved.
Yeah.
There were things that we saw in the library and
Elias
earthquakes.
Told me a lot about that story when he and Carter got me out.
Yes, so Luther, I think I would very much like to see our war hero restored.
I was only thinking of healing people's mind, but yeah, body will help too. And Eugene will run his fingers up his arm and back, like let's the things I could fix.
Mm-hmm.
I must say that I find you guys to be not.
That's yeah.
No, I mean no. I was. Well, yes, of course, but
easy pun. Sorry, Gary.
No, it's. I mean, somebody has to take my place sometimes.
You can't have all the jokes.
Yeah, no. I mean, my life's a bit. I've been one, but maybe through all of this shit, meeting you guys was not so bad.
Oh,
I hope
I
not.
for one, I'm glad that I've met you.
Yeah.
My life would have been terribly dull. Well, no, I can't say terribly dull. It would definitely have been less dull, and I would never have bothered leaving the United States, I don't think.
If it wasn't for
I can't imagine why I would.
If it wasn't for Elias and Carter, I would be on the wrong side of that story.
Well, don't get me wrong, I still hate that fucking lawyer, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's not so bad.
He's my cousin.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Well, a Jewish lawyer, doesn't it kind of cliche?
Oh yeah.
I didn't even consider it. I mean, it's New York. Why would I? Oh, cousin. Okay, that makes more sense now.
You didn't.
All right,
You really didn't
I
like
suppose
him,
you're
right?
allowed to say bad things about him then.
Allowed or not, I will.
Family rights and all that.
So as you guys make some plans for should you survive this.
I was going to say, yes, we're all planning happy ending.
It's way better than talking about the Carlisle expedition just dying and sacrificing every fucking body there.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I
Yep,
mean,
it is.
it might not be realistic. At least it gives us a bit of something to look out for.
Absolutely.
Better than walking through a graveyard again.
But you guys finally drift off to sleep. The morning comes. Everybody is still accounted for.
Not too much terrible dream.
Nope, no terrible dreams. No more than usual. Miles, you estimate you're about 2 days away from the mountain. You'd actually probably be able to see it if the foliage wasn't so thick. You guys, another hour or so of travel, you'll be all the way through this valley and into the actual mountain range itself. Everybody picks up and heads on.
We're making excellent time. We should be in the mountains in about 2 days.
I was just getting used to that stupid jungle.
Well, once we clear this valley area, we should be able to see it.
And as you guys travel on through the morning, you can, all of you, can hear very distant drumming, and like as a matter of fact, like the rest of the column kind of like stops. Like it's an actual sound, not something you're imagining. Like just very very distant drumming. Everybody kind of stops and listens. Everybody basically double checks. Like, did you hear that?
Oh yeah.
You know, everybody confirms that everybody heard it.
Is it a pattern that any of us have heard before?
Gary has.
Yeah, that was it.
Ominous, but yeah.
Is it more onions than everything else?
I mean, it's more obvious because you heard it before.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting jaded about all of this. It's ridiculous.
And I'll get everybody to give me listen rolls.
When did you hear drums?
No, it's for the leopard that's sneaking up on us, or the lion or the tiger.
Oh yeah.
There is
hear
no
nothing.
shoes in the forest.
Gary
Absolutely
is
no shoes.
terrifyingly observant. His terror.
It's thanks to his bar mitzvah. His bar mitzvah is the reason for it. He's become this jungle warrior now.
That is.
Who would have ever thought when he became a man that day he would become a jungle expert and such?
So everybody has stopped, and you're listening. You can hear these drums in the distance. They seem to be like kind of growing louder and louder. I mean, still very very distant, but you can hear that there's an increase in the volume.
Somebody's offbeat.
And an increase in the tempo. They kind of reach a crescendo and then they stop. And in the silence that follows, Miles and Eugene and Gary, you hear rustling in the bushes, rustling in the jungle. Gary, you're like, shit. And then it clues in that it's not big enough to be a cat or anything like that. It sounds, but it's weird. It doesn't sound like it's big enough to be a cat, but at the same time, it sounds very, very big, or like there's a lot of things.
I'm getting my gun out and yell unmanly.
And that's when you see the head of the driver ant column.
The what now?
What now?
Natural lore rolls.
Sorry, what roll?
Natural lore.
Natural world?
That one, yeah.
I was going to say lore is not in this game. Lore is tomorrow night. I know nothing about the natural world.
So
Too much luck. Sorry, guys. It's way too much like 10 lucks.
Yeah. All right. But Miles and Evelyn and Eugene are at least trained in natural world. So yes, basically, army ants. A very large column of them swarming out of the jungle towards you. Just crawling everywhere. And a driver ant column numbers somewhere between 22 and 50 million ants. And these ants are they're about an inch long.
That's too much.
And fully a quarter of that is their pinchers.
Once again, that's too much.
But as this swarm starts coming towards you, we will call it on that cliffhanger.
Good, because that's really gross.
Well,
just so the players are aware, the driver ants. If you've ever heard the stories about the, I think it's one of the tribes in Kenya, they use ants as emergency sutures.
Yep.
Oh yeah, those are the one you break the head, so it keeps the wounds in place.
Yeah, their bite strength is so strong that you can basically they will keep a wound closed for 3 or 4 days. And there's between 22 and 50 million of them bearing down on your column of people.
How many?
Between 22 and 50 million.
I might be thinking of Fire Vampire right now. Might not be the best idea, but that's the first thing that came to mind. Fire!
We're just gonna burn down the entire jungle.
Oh yeah, it's
that'll go over well.
It's not ending well.
Yeah. But we will.
The last thing I want is 22 to 50 million ants that are an inch long and on fire. That just sounds worse.
Perfect. So everybody can roll their recover luck points.
Oh yes, please.
of course, that's the role that I know.
You've been too lucky today. Look, I got my luck, but I got only a single point. So I'm still less lucky than you.
Miles, on the other hand.
Yay.
Perfect. Alrighty. So yeah, we'll pick this up next week.
Yes.
I'm already getting flashbacks to an old. I'm just going to say I'm getting flashbacks to an old D&D campaign where we fought giant ants. So
these ones aren't really giant; they're only like an inch long.
I know.
Giant enough.
The number is giant enough.
Who knows if their saliva is poisonous or whatever at all? Then who knows?
Driver ants actually they do have stingers, but they don't generally use them because they prefer their bite.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those
I bet
ants
they
are
do.
like too big for comfort, but not big enough for me to whack them with a
So,
stick.
so help me. If we die to ants, that's going to be like dying to beer bandits.
I mean,
It's gonna be
seriously,
like,
I just imagine Chris saying, "So you rolled 22 millions damages."
So, but yeah, we'll see everybody next week. I do like how everybody is like, what are we gonna do when we're done?
we were desperately clinging to the idea that we're going to live through this. I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was-
it's not a logical thought. What I'm gonna be
No.
doing when I'm done with that is be insane.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll find my way to go to the dreamland while I'm insane, so I stop being insane. That's the best
Yeah.
case scenario.
But having
Yeah, it was just like enough with the graveyard talk.
but yes.
I love the revelation that our lawyer is Gary's cousin. That was just too fucking funny.
I'm sorry. I assume that Chris would be okay with it.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It kind of explains how you got hauled in. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? And why am I? Oh yeah, a favor to a cousin.
Well, it also, I mean, given the fact that it's the 1920s, it opens up a whole lot of questions about Gary's like family because the lawyer Ramsey is a black gentleman.
Yeah, we're just not asking those questions
Yet.
yet. I mean, maybe eventually we'll see what happens after the ants.
But yeah, I like the fact that, you know, despite everything, people are like, you know what? When this is over, you know, people.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there's, you know, whether it's well placed or not, there's at least that idea that you might get through this.
I mean, if we don't have hope, I feel we play the character differently.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
having like, yeah, I'm rooting for this. I'm trying to get there. Like I know it's a grim game, so the character might at some point just say like, "You fuck it, I'm gonna go for the dreams and just good luck with the rest. Hope the world doesn't end."
Exactly. But yeah, you need to have that sense of hope.
Mhm.
Yep.
Very much so.
So, all right.
That was a
so-
great scene, by the way, guy.
It was.
I agree. I enjoyed that very much.
So we'll see everybody next week, and we'll see 3/4 of you tomorrow for Forbidden Lands.
Yeah.
Have a great one.
You
Have a
too.
good night, folks.
Night,
Thanks for
guys.
everything, guys. Good night.